Hello and welcome to this demonstration of LandIQ's Irrigated Lands Regulatory Program Data Management Tool. I'd like to recognize and thank Colusa Glen Subwatershed Program for their support in the development of this first version of the tool. In this demonstration, I will be going through the member or grower data portal. So let's log in. Once a grower logs in, they will be able to see their account. There is an account combination for each combination of owner and reporter. So if an owner has multiple entities farming for them, for example, each account will be shown and can be managed here. I'd also like to take a quick moment to orient you to the tool features. Once you enter an account, you can go through and update all member information, parcel information, input your current cropping information, and then go through the series of reporting requirements, including farm evaluation, NMP, sediment and erosion, and then finally have optional features of being able to view your parcels on a map, generate and print your invoice, and then also print a full report of all of your entered information at the end of each season. One other thing we like to show is that the tool is very versatile in its formats. So you're viewing it in a computer screen mode, but it can also be viewed in a tablet size mode. Pull it to the center. It can be viewed all the way down to a mobile mode, and you can see how information stacks. You can still bring up the sidebar and see everything and do all of this from a mobile device, for example. So I'll go back to our full view here, and let's go ahead and enter this account. You can see that you're immediately brought in to review your contact information, and then can move on to your parcel information. And one of the good features of this tool and format is that the data are integrated up front. And so all information that's in a subwatershed's existing database would be integrated at the start, so growers don't need to enter their information from scratch. All of the information is reviewed. This is existing parcels. Any new parcels can be added here. To add a parcel, you simply press the button and you can enter your APN, parcel information, your acres, and township range and section is optional. You can also see the parcels that are loaded in presently. You can see if they're in high or low vulnerability areas, and you can also see if they're currently active. You can deactivate a parcel here if, for example, you decided to farm it to rice. You are prompted, you have to give some reason for deactivation. It could be selling, change of ownership. And we'll just say we decided to move that over to rice this year. The great thing about that is if a parcel's deactivated in a later year, it doesn't go away and it's easily brought back in. And so you just click yes and we can move on. So after parcel information is saved, it doesn't need to be entered again at any point in the reporting process. It carries through. And you can go over to your cropping information. You can see the parcel information you've entered is all here. And you can now go in and enter your current cropping information. Field IDs are user defined. You can adjust your crop type. There's a drop-down menu, and this is fully customizable for the specific subwatershed and your conditions and cropping types in your region. So crop is selected. You can also select a planting year for perennial crops if that applies, and you have the option of applying and entering a winter crop if that applies. One thing that we know is that in many cases there's more than one field in a parcel, and so you can see this is the same parcel number here that has two fields on it. If you added a field in a given year, it's as simple as just hitting add field on the parcel where you added a field, and it brings in a new record. You can add a new field ID. you can insert a new crop and new acreage information for that new field that you are farming. You can also delete a field, simply delete it and confirm. And so again, all of this information carries forward through your recording process. Once you've entered it here, you don't have to enter it again. And so you move forward. When you hit save and next, it takes you to the next point in your data entry process, but it also saves your entries as you go. So if you get a session that's interrupted for some reason and you come back to it, it always saves your last data entry. So now we are into the reporting section of the tool. Here's where you define your management units. And again, if you have multiple fields farmed to the same crop with the same management of nitrogen, and you can apply the same management unit, and so only fill out one form for those multiple fields. So you can see that example here. The management units are shown here. If you decide to change a management unit, let's just go ahead and change one. We're going to call this management unit 5. You'll notice that it changes down here, and you fill out a form for each management unit. This is familiar to most. You can see the questions that are asked as part of the field-specific evaluation. Another feature of the tool is that it automatically brings in your previous year entries, so you can see what you entered for each management unit in the previous year, and either go through and click the same things, or you can indicate that you made a change in this year and make a change. But it helps to have that previous data for reference. Once that's updated, you save and move on to the next field. If you click save and you haven't filled out a answer, it will prompt you to go back. So it helps to prevent incomplete forms. We'll just take a look. There's all of the different form selections are here. Just give an example of a few of them. You have all of your well information. Again, this is preloaded into the tool, so the first time a member goes through this process, they're not starting from scratch. You can update your well information if you have a change in your wellhead protection. If you abandon a well, it can be changed to that status and information about that abandonment put in. And you can also add a well or delete a well. So delete a well over here and add here. Just skipping around just to give a few more examples. Again, as you go through this process, all of your previous year information is populated. You check what you want to check. And I'll just give an example of not selecting something so you can see what happens. And you can see it lets you know that you forgot to enter an answer for this question. You go back and enter that answer, and now it should allow us to complete. You get a notification that you have completed that section successfully. In the nitrogen management plan summary, this section pulls in those fields and parcels that are high vulnerability only. So it prompts you to fill in this information for just the fields that require it. If you don't have high vulnerability fields, there would be nothing entered here and you wouldn't be prompted to do this portion of the reporting. So in this area, you can again define your nitrogen management unit. If you have two fields of the same crop and the same nitrogen management, you can enter them the same so that you only need to fill out one record. If you don't, it shows multiple records. And here is where you can go in and indicate your nitrogen applied, your yield per acre, and then the yield unit. And there's multiple choices of yield unit here. And then this tool automatically will calculate your A over Y, so it avoids errors in that calculation. And once it's completed, you hit complete and you're all set. And so similarly, there's data entry for sediment and erosion. And when you get down to maps and reports, mapping is an optional function, as I mentioned previously. In this demonstration, it will not show you parcels because we have a false account entered here. But if you logged into here as a member, active member, only your fields would be highlighted and it would bring you to a view where you can see your individual fields. But it also brings up information on parcels, and so it's a helpful resource in order to be able to see those. As you zoom in, we can see here our parcel data. We can also look at high vulnerability areas. And so if you have a parcel and you're zoomed into your farm and you know that you are now going to be farming a neighboring parcel, you can go ahead and look at that neighboring parcel and see if A, it's high vulnerability or not, and B, what its APN is if you are looking to add a parcel into the reporting program. And so back over to the tool. You also, at the end of your process, have the opportunity to view your invoice. And all of this information is customizable based on individual subwatershed rate structures. It automatically calculates based on any flat fee or acre-based charges, and it uses up-to-date acreage information that was entered during the reporting process. You have the option of printing or linking it to an online payment system. It's up to the individual subwatershed how they want to manage that process. And finally, they have the option of printing their full report. So all of their reporting answers and final reporting can be printed in one final set to keep on farm for themselves. One other thing in the nitrogen management plan summary, it also links individuals to the nitrogen management worksheet, which if they are to fill out a nitrogen management plan, they're to have this on farm. So this is just another resource that's linked, and other resources like that can be easily linked to the tool. So that is a summary of the tool capabilities. You can see that you can access all of these components from multiple places to keep it easily navigable as you go through the process. Thank you, and we will log out.